RIOT stock. This is Riot blockchain. So I'm taking a look at the Bitcoin chart, or the BTC chart, and yeah, as I've been explaining, go check. I have a link in the description here. I have a whole list of Bitcoin videos explaining why this kind of bearish activity is probably happening, and then also the technicals on Bitcoin. But in any case, you know, we're topping out on the sort of ribbon here, and I'm like, are we gonna do 2 tops or 3 tops? I was in the 3 top camp like a month ago. I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was like, I think the second top is gonna be it. And it's not just the technicals. It is more to do with the Wright Satoshi Nakamoto court case, and then and now potential legal action and fraud kind of things that are going to come out against the BTC chain and potentially cause a snowballing effect to the downside for Bitcoin and or BTC. I don't know if we're supposed to call it Bitcoin anymore. But yeah, in any case, just on the technicals here, like, we've broken down out of this bear flag, and this was, I made this call yesterday at the top, shorted this yesterday at the top. You can go look at my last couple of videos and where this trade setup was. But I guess just the technicals on a BTC short is right when you're breaking out of the bear flag is like technically where you're supposed to enter a bear flag trade, but I entered it up here, right at the resistance, which is so far working out a little bit. Let me go in on the technicals of this bear flag, and then I'll go look at Riot and see how that relates to this activity. So here's a breakdown, right? And then we'll see if there's a back test under the channel here today. That is one potential spot where a short entry would be a technical good short entry on a back test like that might happen. Just on the BTC, or BITO is like an ETF that tracks it, and or you know, like Ledger X has like put options and things like that. There's a couple different ways to do that sort of a trade, and not financial advice. It's just kind of what my trades are. But yeah, but anyway, I shorted this thing, and this breakdown's not surprising. But I do want to go. It's just a generic bull flag or bear flag. But let me show you this bear flag. We've stabbed through the bull channel, and we've stabbed through, or not the bull. This is the bubble trend line. That's like 8 years or something of bubbling movement. And so we're not just doing a bear flag. We're like bear flagging and breaking down off of the bubble trend line. So this is where things can get in trouble. And so it doesn't need to like rip straight to the downside, but that's one possibility. But I just wanted to point out, like, the height of this stab here, if you can do just a continuation pattern off the bear flag, it's somewhere in the mid 30s or so. And we've already stabbed through this bull channel. So a continuation pattern on the bull flag might just slice right through this without even picking up any kind of coiling or support or anything, because we've already stabbed it, and we're attempting a breakdown of this bear channel here. So that is what's up with the general trading and like the general situation with all the coins. And so I guess each coin is a different case, but BTC especially is not a fork. It's a separate blockchain from the blockchain created in the Bitcoin white papers, and there may be fraud charges brought against that and the developers. So none of that has come out in the news yet, but I've seen Craig Wright talking about all of this stuff, and so the Craig Wright court case is over, and now all this kind of stuff can start. And you know, Craig Wright's been trying to say that the BSV chain is the one that's actually the white paper, but he said like the BCH fork is, or actually he hasn't specifically said BCH fork is where he has his patents, but I saw something online suggesting that I mean, he says he has like hundreds of patents related to Bitcoin and Bitcoin software and protocols and architecture and whatever else, but I saw online an unverified source that said that BCH is a lot of his patents are on that. But in any case, let's go look at RIOT, because these Bitcoin miners are potentially going to get in trouble if BTC gets in trouble. Okay, so RIOT, let's go to the 1 day and check out the fundamentals on this guy. And so this is the least scary of all the miners, I think, in terms of a bullish position on the technicals. But we are breaking down off of a pretty good channel, and the sort of the bullish run hasn't been broken yet. We're just kind of pulling back. So for anyone that is looking for a bullish entry on BTC or a miner or something like that, like I think this is the most bullish looking chart. And not financial advice, but yeah, I mean, just if we come down into support here above the sort of bull channel around, where are we, 16, and this runs all the way out a month or two, but if we start coming into the 16 area over the next couple of months, that's a support area that's pretty important on this chart. And then the downside targets on BTC are, I mean, some of them are pretty low. I don't know if we really start dropping. I think like 14 is like really strong support on BTC, but I mean, I can go back and look at that. But I mean, you can see the structure here. Like we have more of a long-term support at like 250 or so, or like a bottom at 250 where you could pick up yeah, longer term support. But this channel right here is, well, it's a strong channel, but it's being broken now. So in any case, this is still bullish structure, unlike most of the other charts. Like for instance, I just looked at HUT8, which is a really sloppy chart, which is high, but it's not really a bullish looking structure. It's like we're breaking down off of the bullish trend, and it looks like a pretty steep bearish trend setting up. So HUT8 looks dangerous, and then Mara's the short that I've been talking about for like the last month. This blew its bull trend line like a couple of months ago, and I was wondering if it was going to get back on top, and when it did not get back on top, it did this double tap, like kind of down move, and it's like, oh, boom, like I can already see the bear channel. And then it hooked under here, and I'm like, okay, I'm short on this. Hard short on Mara, just because it's a simple technical setup, but also because I saw all of the snowballing negative possible things happening on Bitcoin in the technicals and legal situation. And so I thought that Mara probably has a combination of all the Bitcoin downside possibilities and also just the sort of bubble stocks, and the stock market is like threatening to maybe make a down move, which I'm not going to go through the whole market here. I'm just going to talk about Bitcoin a little bit. But anyway, like this trade is still running, and Bitcoin's just breaking down out of that bear flag. And so if Bitcoin does actually make a big stab for 10,000 or 20,000, like, I mean, obviously the miners are not going to like that. And we have we have different support levels here where you could potentially pick up a bear flag and make it back to this downtrend line. So basically just sitting on puts and just seeing if we get a huge red candle, and that's where you close the puts out. Not financial advice, but that's what I'm doing with Mara. Just sitting on some longer term puts that are out to like the middle of next year, and just seeing if it throws a massive red candle. Yeah, so that's the general idea with BTC. And so, yeah, if we get into a situation where you're not allowed to call BTC Bitcoin anymore, which is entirely possible but could take several years, I don't know, just the threat of that, or like the legal threat to any of the core developers happening right now could be a big deal. And yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And where are we at? 40 whatever, 45, 46. So to the downside, I mean, this bull channel is obviously support. If that gets broken, we have room to dive into the 30s, and we have sort of we have a down channel where we pick this up, so that down channel is better support probably. We have some decent support in the 30s here, where we could bounce and go sideways and do who knows what. If those break, and this is probably out, yeah, March somewhere, there's a ton of like way bigger support areas around 14-ish, something like that. That could take several months to, who knows. We'll see what kind of action we get, or if all that kind of stuff starts coming out, things could get pretty crazy for BTC and a lot of the other altcoins. But that's the chart I'm looking at, and the little breakdown out of the bear flag is kind of dramatic, but it's nothing compared to like a potential like serious down move, which could be whatever, 70% something drop over the next 4 months or something, I think is possible here. And where do we come up from? We have sort of this sideways double channel area here from 6 to about 12, 11 something, 12. So yeah, there's like really strong support at 14 and 12, and then if we break that 6, so I don't want to get too far ahead, but just the potential for these things happening, like if it starts coming out like that and it starts snowballing, those are technical downside targets. But the bigger risk is like actual legal fraud actions against BTC and the core devs and things like that. And then also if the price is dropping on Bitcoin enough that it becomes unprofitable to mine Bitcoin and the miners stop mining, then it like freezes the chain, and would it like be just a downward spiral that could really make it go down. So that is the black swan, and go check out my Satoshi Wright playlist. But yeah, anyway, I've been talking about all this stuff for about a month, and the technicals kind of shaped up where it looks like this top is gonna be the top. I mean, I think this is the top on Bitcoin, and if all that stuff happens, it could really be like a permanent, long-term, forever top on Bitcoin. Which is not, like a month ago I was just looking at the technicals and saying like, yeah, we might like end the cycle here and then, you know, get up to another top around 100 later in a few years or something. But yeah, anyway, we'll just see how that story plays out. But keep your ears open. It's not really coming out in the news. Like that entire Craig Wright court case is like, everyone ignored it like it didn't happen, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, go watch the Theory of Bitcoin videos, go look up the court case, go watch my playlist, and figure what's going on, because it's pretty important for anyone that's thinking about investing in Bitcoin or developing on the blockchains. Like, this affects everything. And I'm gonna do a crypto winter episode after this. But that's it for which one was this? Riot? Yeah. Okay. So cheers, happy trading.